You called your dog's name. They heard you. You know they heard you because their ear twitched. Their body shifted slightly. Some part of them registered the sound of your voice calling them. And then they did nothing. No response. No movement toward you. No eye contact. Just nothing. As if you hadn't spoken at all. And something small shifted inside you in that moment. Maybe frustration. Maybe confusion. Maybe something that felt uncomfortably close to rejection. You thought, are they mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Why won't they come? Here is what almost no owner understands in that moment. When your dog suddenly ignores you, not as a one-time distraction but as a new pattern, a shift in how they are responding to you, they are not being stubborn. They are not being difficult. They are not punishing you. They are communicating. Clearly, deliberately, in the only language available to them. And what they are saying is something every owner needs to stop and hear. Stay until the end. Because the last reason a dog goes quiet on the people they love is the one that matters most, and the one most owners realize too late. In the human world, being ignored feels personal. It feels like a statement about the relationship, about worth, about whether someone values your presence. We carry this interpretation so deeply that when our dogs do it, we feel it in the same place. But dogs do not ignore the way humans ignore. They do not have the cognitive architecture for passive aggression. They do not calculate how to make you feel excluded. They do not decide to punish you with silence because something you did annoyed them 3 days ago. When a dog ignores you, truly ignores you, in a new or sustained way that is different from their baseline, they are responding to something real. Something in their body, their environment, their emotional state, or their relationship with you has changed enough that their behavior has changed with it. The ignoring is not the problem. It is the signal pointing at the problem. Animal behaviorists describe this as a form of stress response communication. A dog who has reached a threshold of discomfort, pain, anxiety, or confusion will often reduce their social engagement before showing any other outward sign. They go quiet before they go symptomatic. They withdraw before they collapse. They stop responding before they stop functioning. Your dog going silent on you is not them being difficult. It is them telling you, in the most honest way they know how, that something is not right. The question is not why they are ignoring you. The question is what they are trying to get you to notice. Has your dog ever suddenly started ignoring you when they never used to? Comment below. Tell me when it started and what was happening in their life at the time. Your experience might help someone else recognize the same thing in their dog. The first and most important thing to rule out when your dog suddenly becomes less responsive is physical pain or discomfort. Dogs are hardwired to conceal vulnerability. It is an ancient survival mechanism. In the wild, an animal that shows weakness becomes a target. So dogs do not come to you limping and crying when something hurts. They do not present their pain for inspection. They do what their biology tells them to do, which is minimize it, manage it quietly, and reduce the behaviors that might make it worse or more visible. Reduced responsiveness is one of the earliest behavioral signs of pain in dogs, appearing consistently before obvious limping, whimpering, or changes in appetite. A dog who stops coming when called may not be ignoring you, they may be choosing not to move because moving hurts. A dog who turns away from being petted may not be withdrawing emotionally, they may be avoiding contact in the specific area where they are sore. The joints are the most common culprit, particularly in older dogs. Arthritis, hip dysplasia, and soft tissue injuries can make the normal physical expressions of connection, rushing to you, jumping up, pressing against you, genuinely painful. So the dog stops doing them. And from the outside it looks like ignoring. Watch for the combination. Reduced responsiveness plus any of the following: moving more slowly, hesitating on stairs, being less enthusiastic about walks, getting up from lying down more carefully than usual, and the ignoring is almost certainly physical. A vet visit is not overreacting. It is exactly the right response to a message your dog has been trying to send. When the physical explanation has been ruled out, the next territory to examine is emotional, and this is where most owners are least equipped to look. Dogs experience stress, anxiety, and emotional overwhelm as real physiological states that change their behavior in measurable ways. A dog under sustained emotional stress is a dog whose nervous system is running a low-level alert continuously, and a nervous system in that state has fewer resources available for the normal expressions of connection. The triggers for emotional withdrawal in dogs are often things that seem minor to humans but are enormous to a creature whose entire world is their immediate environment. A new person in the household. A new pet. A change in routine that disrupts the predictable rhythms the dog relies on for their sense of safety. A move to a new home. A period of tension between humans that the dog has been absorbing. Even a change in your schedule that means less time together than the dog is used to. In all of these cases, the dog's reduced responsiveness is not about you. It is about their capacity. Their nervous system is already managing something difficult, and the social energy required to respond enthusiastically to being called, to engage fully with interaction, to show up with their whole self, that energy is being used elsewhere. The right response is not to push harder for the connection. It is to reduce the pressure. Create more predictability, more quiet, more routine. Give their nervous system the stability it needs to come back online. The dog who is withdrawing emotionally will return, but only if the environment gives them the conditions to do so. If this is already making you see your dog's withdrawal differently, hit like right now. This information reaches dog owners who need it through your support. And your dog needs you to understand this. Sometimes the withdrawal is specifically relational. Something happened between you and your dog that created a rupture in the connection, and the ignoring is your dog's way of processing that rupture. This is the category owners find hardest to sit with because it requires honest self-examination. Not self-blame, but honest looking. A dog who was punished in a way that frightened or confused them. A dog who was handled roughly, even once, even briefly. A dog who was repeatedly called and then something unpleasant happened when they came. A bath they hated, a nail trim, a medication they found distressing. Dogs make associations quickly and remember them reliably. If coming to you has become connected to something they experience as aversive, their response to being called will change. This is also why trainers consistently emphasize that your dog should never be called for something they find unpleasant. The recall, your dog's ability and willingness to come to you when called, is one of the most important behaviors in your relationship. It should be associated exclusively with good things. Every time you call your dog for a nail trim or a bath, you are making it slightly harder for them to trust that coming to you is always safe. The repair is straightforward but requires patience. Stop calling for anything unpleasant. Go to them instead. Spend time simply being near them without agenda. No commands, no requests, no training. Sit on the floor. Let them approach on their own timeline. Let the association between you and safety rebuild itself gradually from the foundation up. It will come back. But it comes back on their terms, not yours. When your dog begins withdrawing, every instinct you have as someone who loves them will push you toward the wrong response. And understanding why that response makes things worse is one of the most important things you can learn as a dog owner. The instinct is to close the distance, to call more, to follow them, to reach out more insistently, to prove with increased effort that you are safe, that you love them, that there is no reason to pull away. This instinct comes from the right place, from love and from worry. But it is experienced by a withdrawing dog as pressure, as exactly the kind of increased demand on their nervous system that they are already struggling to meet. A dog who is withdrawing needs the opposite of pursuit. They need predictability, stillness, the reliable presence of someone who is not demanding anything from them, who is simply there, available, safe, and not requiring them to perform connection before they have the internal resources to offer it genuinely. The most effective thing you can do when your dog is ignoring you is to stop trying to make them stop ignoring you. Sit on the floor in the same room. Read a book. Be present without agenda. And wait. Let them clock that you are there and that your presence does not come with demands. Let them come to you when they are ready. And when they do, even if it is just sitting slightly closer than before, receive it quietly without making it a bigger moment than it needs to be. They do not need celebration. They need to feel that the return was safe, that you were worth coming back to. There is a version of this behavior that is not emotional, not relational, not a communication that can wait. And knowing the difference could save your dog's life. A dog who withdraws suddenly and completely, who goes from normal engagement to near total unresponsiveness within hours or a single day, is a dog who needs immediate veterinary attention. Not tomorrow. Not after the weekend. Today. Sudden complete withdrawal combined with any of the following is a medical emergency. Not eating or drinking, vomiting, unusual breathing, visible pain when touched, inability to stand or walk normally, eyes that are glazed or unfocused, gums that are pale or gray rather than pink. These combinations indicate something systemic, something happening inside your dog's body that requires diagnosis and treatment urgently. Dogs in the early stages of serious illness go quiet before they go symptomatic in ways that humans can easily identify. The withdrawal is the first thing to change because social engagement requires energy and a sick body conserves energy by withdrawing from everything non-essential first. Connection is non-essential to survival. So it goes first. The owners who catch serious illness early in their dogs are almost always owners who knew their dog's baseline so thoroughly that they recognized the deviation immediately. Who knew that their dog always came when called, always greeted them at the door, always pressed against them at night, and who noticed the moment that changed and took it seriously rather than explaining it away. Your dog cannot call for help. They can only go quiet and hope that the person who knows them best notices the silence. Has your dog ever suddenly withdrawn and you later found out why? Tell me in the comments. Was it physical, emotional, or something in the relationship? Your story could help another owner recognize the same signals before it is too late. Your dog went quiet. And now you know what that means. It means something changed. In their body, in their world, in the space between you. Something shifted enough that the only way they had to tell you was to stop responding the way they always had, to make the change in them visible through the change in their behavior. They were not ignoring you. They were asking you to pay attention, to look closer, to notice what was different and ask why. They could not say it any other way. So they went silent and hoped you would hear the silence. Now you know how to listen for it. Now you know what to do when you hear it. Now you know that when your dog goes quiet, the most loving thing you can do is stop, look closely and ask, "What are you trying to tell me?" Because they are always telling you something, even when they say nothing at all. If this changed how you see your dog's silence, subscribe to the Dog Mind. Every week we decode a behavior your dog has been showing you for years that you never fully understood. Your dog speaks every single day. Subscribe and we will help you hear every word.